I've seen so many people rush out and grab the cheapest all-in-one range on sale, only to end up with a stovetop that can't hold a pot and an oven that takes forever to brown a pizza. The regret shows up the first time you try to sear a steak and the surface flickers, or when you open the door and the heat is still uneven after 10 minutes. That's why I wanted to see if the Forno Torino 30-inch induction range feels like a smarter buy, or if it's just another pricey gimmick. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I first heard about the Torino, my hesitation was natural. A 30-inch unit that promises high-powered induction, true convection, air fry, and even air sous vide in one package is a lot to swallow. The kitchen isn't a showroom, and the space you give up for a 4.32 cubic foot oven matters. I asked myself, will the induction surface actually stay cool enough for safety, and will the convection really move air evenly, or will I be stuck with a nice-looking box that still needs a second oven for serious baking? Those are the questions that keep most buyers up at night. I've been testing the Torino in a typical weekday routine. Mornings start with oatmeal, but the real test comes at lunch when I need a quick stir-fry. The induction cooktop fires up instantly, hitting the high power level I need to get that wok-like sizzle without the lag you get on traditional electric coils. The surface stays relatively cool around the pan, which is a real plus if you have kids running around the kitchen. The only downside I noticed is the learning curve. The touch controls are very responsive, but they're also a bit sensitive. A light tap can change the power setting, so you have to be deliberate, especially if you're juggling a phone and a cutting board. For dinner, the true convection oven really shines. I tossed a frozen chicken wing tray onto the middle rack and set the air fry mode. Within 20 minutes the wings were crisp, and the interior of the oven didn't get sticky like a conventional oven does with splatter. The airflow system circulates hot air effectively, which means I can get that fried texture without a separate deep fryer. On the flip side, the oven's capacity, while decent for a family of 4, feels tight if you try to bake 2 sheet pans at once. I had to stagger a batch of cookies and a roasting pan, which added about 10 minutes to the overall cooking time. If you're used to a professional-size oven, you'll notice the limitation. One of the more interesting modes is the air sous vide. I ran a small piece of salmon at 122°F for 30 minutes, and the result was buttery smooth, just like a restaurant prep. The waterless approach means I didn't need a separate immersion circulator, and the unit kept the temperature steady. However, the water reservoir is modest, so you can't do a large batch of sous vide without refilling. That's a trade-off you'll have to accept if you're planning to use the feature for big-batch meals. Cleaning is where the Torino tries to earn points. The stainless steel body is smudge-resistant, and the cooktop glass can be wiped down with a damp cloth without leaving streaks. The oven's interior has a self-cleaning coating that makes it easier to wipe off crumbs after a roast. I did notice, though, that the grease collection tray under the cooktop is a bit shallow. If you fry regularly, you'll need to empty it more often than you might expect. So who should consider buying the Forno Torino? If you're a home chef who wants a single appliance that can replace a separate induction range and a convection oven, and you appreciate the convenience of built-in air fry and sous vide, this is a solid choice. It works especially well for people who cook daily, need quick heat response, and like to experiment with modern cooking techniques without buying multiple gadgets. The price is higher than a basic electric range, but the value comes from the combined functionality and the way the unit saves countertop space. Who should skip it? If your kitchen is already cramped and you can't fit a 30-inch footprint, or if you only need a simple stovetop and bake occasionally, you'll probably get more bang for your buck with a separate induction cooktop and a conventional oven. Also, if you're a serious baker who relies on multiple sheet pans at once, the limited oven volume might become a bottleneck. Finally, if you prefer tactile knobs over touch panels, the Torino's sleek glass controls may feel too finicky for your taste. In terms of practical strengths, the Induction's rapid heat response and safety cool surface are real game changers for everyday cooking. The true convection system delivers even browning, making the air fry mode genuinely useful for crispy results without extra oil. The integrated sous vide mode adds a gourmet edge without the need for extra equipment, and the easy clean design reduces the time you spend scrubbing after meals. The practical weaknesses are mostly about size and ergonomics. The ovens.